The silent awakening. In the cold void of space, where the stars whispered ancient secrets and the galaxies swirled in an eternal dance, the universe had long regarded humanity as insignificant. For eons, alien civilizations had watched Earth from afar, their advanced technology and superior intellect leading them to dismiss humans as little more than a curious anomaly. To them, humans were amusing, a primitive species, clinging to their tiny blue planet, unaware of the vast, teeming cosmos beyond their atmosphere. But Earth's history had always been one of resilience. From the dawn of time, humans had faced insurmountable odds, adapting, evolving, and surviving in a world that seemed determined to test them. Unbeknownst to the alien observers, this resilience was about to reveal itself in ways that would shake the foundations of the universe. Deep within the heart of Earth, hidden away from prying eyes, a group of brilliant engineers and scientists had been working on a project so secretive that even their closest allies were unaware of its existence. This was not just any ship. This was a vessel designed to defy the very laws of detection. It was a stealth ship, crafted with a single purpose: to explore the stars without being seen, to tread where no human or alien had dared to tread. The ship, known only as the Eclipse, was a marvel of human ingenuity. Its sleek design and advanced cloaking technology made it invisible to even the most sophisticated alien sensors. As it sat in the dark hangar, waiting for its maiden voyage, there was a sense of anticipation in the air, a feeling that history was about to be made. On the day of the launch, the small crew of the Eclipse gathered in the control room. They were a diverse group, each member selected for their unique skills and unwavering dedication to the mission. Captain Elena Reeves, a seasoned astronaut with a reputation for calm under pressure, stood at the helm. Her sharp eyes scanned the monitors, her mind already racing ahead to the challenges they might face. "Is everyone ready?" Captain Reeves asked, her voice steady, betraying none of the excitement she felt. The crew nodded, their expressions a mix of determination and awe. They knew the risks, venturing into the unknown, possibly drawing the attention of alien civilizations who might not appreciate their presence. But they also knew the importance of what they were about to do. Humanity had come too far to turn back now. With a final command, the Eclipse lifted off, its engines humming softly as it ascended through Earth's atmosphere. For a brief moment, the ship was visible from the surface, a shining beacon of human achievement against the backdrop of the stars. But then, as it reached the edge of space, the Eclipse activated its cloaking device, and it vanished from sight, leaving no trace of its existence. The aliens watching Earth were oblivious to the ship's departure. Their sensors, tuned to detect every cosmic anomaly, registered nothing unusual. To them, it was just another day of monitoring a species they believed posed no threat. But the Eclipse was no ordinary vessel. As it traveled further from Earth, its crew marveled at the sights before them: distant nebulae glowing with otherworldly light, planets shrouded in mystery, and the infinite darkness that seemed to stretch on forever. Yet, as awe-inspiring as the journey was, they knew their true mission lay ahead: to make contact with an alien race, to show them that humanity was not to be underestimated. The first sign that their mission was about to take a turn came as a faint blip on their radar, a disturbance in the fabric of space. Captain Reeves narrowed her eyes, adjusting the sensors to get a better look. What she saw made her heart skip a beat. "It's a ship," she whispered, barely able to believe her eyes. "An alien ship." The crew quickly gathered around monitors, their eyes wide with astonishment. The alien vessel was unlike anything they had ever seen, massive, with a design that defied logic, its surface pulsating with an eerie glow. But it was not the ship's appearance that shocked them, it was the fact that it was heading straight for them. For a moment, there was silence in the control room as the crew processed what this meant. The Eclipse, with all its advanced technology, had been detected. The alien ship was aware of their presence. "Should we decloak?" one of the engineers asked, his voice trembling with uncertainty. Captain Reeves hesitated. Decloaking would mean revealing their position, their intentions, everything. But it would also show the aliens that humanity was not afraid, that they were capable of more than anyone had ever imagined. "Do it," she said finally, her voice firm. "Let's show them who we are." With a single command, the Eclipse deactivated its cloaking device. The ship materialized in the void, its sleek contours catching the light of distant stars. For a moment, nothing happened. The alien ship remained still, as if contemplating this sudden appearance. Then, slowly, it began to move closer, its massive form dwarfing the Eclipse. The crew held their breath as the alien ship loomed over them, its surface shimmering with an otherworldly energy. This was the moment they had prepared for, the moment that would determine the future of humanity's place in the cosmos. And as the alien ship drew nearer, the crew of the Eclipse stood ready, their hearts filled with a mixture of fear and determination. They knew they were no longer just representatives of Earth. They were the first line of defense, the first to prove that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. In the vast expanse of space, where silence reigned and the stars bore witness, the moment had arrived. The aliens had stopped laughing. Humanity had finally stepped into the light. The echo of the unseen. The alien ship continued its approach, its immense form dominating the viewports of the Eclipse. Captain Elena Reeves stood at the helm, her eyes locked on the slowly advancing vessel. Every instinct urged her to flee, but she knew better. This moment had been centuries in the making, a silent declaration that humanity had evolved beyond the expectations of those who had once laughed at them. "Open a channel," Captain Reeves ordered, her voice steady. Lieutenant Arjun Patel, the ship's communications officer, swiftly complied, his hands moving deftly over the controls. The crew held their breath as they waited, the silence in the control room thick with anticipation. For a few agonizing moments, nothing happened. The alien ship continued to hover ominously above them, its intentions unreadable. Then, without warning, the monitors flickered to life. The image that appeared was both mesmerizing and unsettling, a being that defied human comprehension. It was tall, with elongated limbs and a face that seemed to shift and change as if it were made of liquid light. Its eyes, however, were what held Captain Reeves' attention, deep, unfathomable orbs that seemed to see through the Eclipse and into the very souls of its crew. "Humans," the alien's voice resonated through the ship, an eerie melodic tone that sent shivers down the crew's spines. It spoke in perfect English, a fact that only added to the unease. "You have dared to reveal yourselves." Captain Reeves took a deep breath, standing tall. "We are not here as intruders," she began, choosing her words carefully. "We are explorers, seeking knowledge and understanding. We come in peace." The alien's expression, or what passed for one, did not change. "Peace," it echoed, as if the word was foreign to it. "You hide in the shadows, cloak yourselves from our gaze, and then you speak of peace." Reeves could feel the tension rising among her crew, but she remained calm. "We have cloaked ourselves out of necessity, not deception. We've been observing, just as you have observed us." The alien tilted its head slightly, as if considering her words. "Observed you," it repeated, its tone shifting to something akin to amusement. "We have watched your kind for millennia. You were but a curiosity, a primitive species stumbling through the dark." Reeves felt a surge of anger, but she kept it in check. "Perhaps we were once, but we have grown, evolved. We are no longer the beings you once dismissed." The alien's eyes glinted, and for the first time, it seemed to truly look at Captain Reeves, as if assessing her. "You speak with conviction, human," it said, its voice softer now, less mocking. "But conviction alone does not make you worthy." Reeves took a step forward, her gaze unwavering. "We're not asking for your approval. We're here to show you that we're not to be underestimated." The alien remained silent for a long moment, its form shimmering as if it were contemplating something far beyond the scope of human understanding. Then it spoke again, its tone carrying a note of curiosity. "You possess technology that rivals our own. How is it that such a primitive species has achieved this? Reese exchanged a glance with her crew, each of them understanding the gravity of the question. We achieved it through ingenuity, perseverance, and a desire to explore the unknown, she replied. We learned, adapted, and overcame the challenges before us. The alien's eyes narrowed slightly, as if probing the truth behind her words. And what do you seek in the cosmos, human? Power. Dominion over the stars? Reeves shook her head. We seek understanding, knowledge, and the chance to forge alliances with other beings who share our curiosity. The alien's form flickered, the liquid-like substance of its body rippling with energy. You speak of alliances, yet you ventured into our territory uninvited. Reeves met its gaze, unflinching. We came because we knew you were watching. We came to show you that humanity is not afraid, that we have much to offer the universe. The alien regarded her with an inscrutable expression. You are bold, human, it said finally. But boldness alone is not enough to survive the vastness of space. Reese allowed herself a small smile. We've survived this long. We're prepared to survive whatever comes next. The alien's gaze lingered on her, and then, to the crew's surprise, it inclined its head slightly, a gesture that could only be interpreted as a sign of respect. Perhaps you are not as insignificant as we once thought, it conceded. But know this, human, the universe is vast, and not all within it will welcome your presence. You will be tested, and you must be ready to face the consequences of your actions. Reese nodded, her expression serious. We understand the risks, but we believe the rewards are worth it. The alien's form began to fade, its presence withdrawing from the monitors. We shall see, human. We shall see. And with that, the connection was severed, the alien ship pulling back slightly, its engines humming with a low, almost imperceptible vibration. The crew of the Eclipse remained silent, each of them processing the encounter in their own way. They had made contact, and though the outcome was uncertain, they had taken a step into the unknown, a step that could change the course of human history. Captain Rees finally broke the silence, turning to her crew with a determined look. Prepare for the next phase of our mission, she ordered. This is just the beginning. The crew sprang into action, their early attention replaced with a sense of purpose. They knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but they were ready to face whatever the universe had in store. As the Eclipse continued its journey through the stars, leaving the alien ship behind, the crew couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. They had stood before an advanced civilization and proven that humanity was not to be underestimated. And as they ventured further into the cosmos, they knew that this was only the beginning of their journey. Humanity had been seen. The universe was no longer a silent observer. The echo of their presence would resonate across the stars, a reminder that the beings once dismissed as primitive were now players in the cosmic game. The aliens had stopped laughing, and the true adventure had just begun. The abyss of curiosity. The Eclipse moved silently through the void, its cloaking technology rendering it nearly invisible. Inside, the crew was a flurry of activity, processing the data they had collected and preparing for the unknown challenges ahead. The encounter with the alien ship had left them all on edge, but had also ignited a fire, a deep, unyielding curiosity that demanded to be satisfied. Captain Elena Rees stood at the observation deck, gazing out into the vastness of space. Her mind was racing, replaying the conversation with the alien being. There was something in its tone, a subtle warning that echoed in her thoughts. The universe is vast, and not all within it will welcome your presence. The words lingered, a reminder that their journey was far from over and that danger lurked in the shadows. Captain, we're approaching the edge of the mapped sector. Lieutenant Arjun Potel's voice crackled through the intercom, breaking her reverie. Thank you, Lieutenant, Reeves replied, her eyes still fixed on the stars. What do our sensors show? A pause, then Patel's voice came back, slightly hesitant. There's something strange, Captain. A large structure, but it's not like anything we've encountered before. It's almost as if it's dormant. Reeves frowned, intrigued. Bring us closer, but keep the cloaking engaged. I want a full scan of that structure. The Eclipse shifted its course, gliding towards the mysterious object. As they drew nearer, the structure became visible on the ship's external cameras, a massive monolithic shape that seemed to absorb the light around it. It was ancient, its surface pockmarked with the scars of time and the cosmos. Yet, despite its age, there was a sense of foreboding, as if the structure was waiting, biding its time. "Captain, the structure is emitting a low-frequency signal," Lieutenant Patel reported. "It's weak, but it's definitely there." Reeves leaned forward, her curiosity piqued. "Can we decipher it?" Patel worked quickly, his fingers dancing over the controls. "I'm running it through our translation matrix now. It's not a language we've encountered, but it shares some similarities with ancient Terran dialects." The captain's eyes widened slightly. "Ancient Terran? How is that possible?" "I don't know, Captain," Patel admitted. "But there's more. The structure isn't just dormant, it's in a state of hibernation. Whatever it is, it's designed to wake up under certain conditions." Reeves felt a chill run down her spine. "And we just triggered those conditions." Patel looked up from his station, concern etched on his face. "Possibly. The signal is growing stronger, and I'm detecting energy fluctuations within the structure." Reeves knew they had to act quickly. Prepare the ship for immediate withdrawal, but keep the sensors locked on that structure. "I want to know everything about it." Before Patel could respond, the ship's alarms blared, and the lights dimmed as the Eclipse's systems struggled to handle an unexpected surge of energy. The structure, once dormant, was now pulsing with life. The low-frequency signal had transformed into a powerful, resonating hum that filled the ship, vibrating through every surface. "Captain, the structure is activating," Patel shouted over the noise. "It's generating a massive gravitational field. We're being pulled in." Reeves grabbed the edge of her console, her mind racing. "Engage full reverse thrust. We need to break free before we're caught in its gravity well." The engines roared to life, straining against the pull of the mysterious structure. The Eclipse shuddered violently as it fought to escape, but the gravitational force was immense, driving them closer with each passing second. "Captain, we're not going to make it." Patel's voice was filled with alarm. "The gravity field is too strong." Reeves clenched her jaw, her mind working furiously. They were out of options. The structure had them in its grip, and there was no escaping its pull. "All hands, brace for impact," she ordered, her voice calm despite the chaos around her. The Eclipse hurtled towards the structure, the crew holding on as the ship was dragged into the dark maw of the unknown. The moment of impact came with a blinding flash of light, and then nothing. Silence enveloped the ship. The alarms had ceased, the vibrations were gone, and the oppressive hum had faded into nothingness. For a moment, it was as if time itself had stopped. Reeves opened her eyes, disoriented. The observation deck was intact, but the view outside had changed dramatically. Instead of the endless void of space, they were surrounded by a swirling mass of colors and lights, a surreal landscape that defied explanation. "Report," Reeves demanded, her voice steady but tense. Lieutenant Patel was the first to respond. "Captain, we've been pulled into some sort of pocket dimension. The structure appears to be a gateway of some kind, but our instruments can't make sense of this place." Reeves took in the scene outside, a strange mix of awe and fear settling over her. They had entered the unknown, a realm beyond the reach of their understanding. But one thing was clear: whatever lay ahead, they were no longer in their universe. "We need to figure out what this place is and how to get out of here," Reeves said, her mind already racing through possibilities. "Begin scanning for any anomalies or exits. And keep an eye on that structure. We don't know what else it might do." As the crew worked to gather data, the colors outside shifted and swirled, forming shapes that seemed almost alive. There was an energy in this place, something ancient and powerful, and Reeves could feel it in her bones. They were on the precipice of a discovery that could change everything or destroy them. Suddenly, the ship's sensors detected movement, a massive entity emerging from the swirling chaos, its form obscured by the surrounding light. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, a being of pure energy, its presence radiating a sense of vast intelligence. The crew watched in stunned silence as the entity approached, its movements slow and deliberate. It stopped just outside the eclipse, its glowing form hovering in the void. Then, without warning, a voice resonated through the ship, filling the minds of everyone on board. "You have entered the realm of the ancients," the voice intoned, deep and resonant. "Few have crossed the threshold and lived to tell the tale." Reese stepped forward, her heart pounding. "Who are you? What is this place?" The entity's light pulsed, as if considering her questions. "We are the remnants of those who came before, the builders of worlds and shapers of stars. This place is our sanctuary, a refuge from the endless void." Reese felt a mix of awe and dread. They had stumbled upon something extraordinary, an ancient civilization that had transcended their universe. But the implications were staggering, and the danger was real. "What do you want from us?" Reeves asked, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. The entity's light dimmed slightly, its tone taking on a more contemplative note. "You seek knowledge, and we possess it. But knowledge comes at a price. Are you willing to pay it?" Reese knew they had little choice. They were trapped in this strange dimension, with no clear way out. But this was also an opportunity, a chance to learn from beings who had achieved the unimaginable. "We are willing," she said, her voice firm. The entity pulsed once more, and the crew felt a wave of energy wash over them, filling their minds with visions, glimpses of advanced technology, forgotten histories, and the boundless possibilities of a cosmos. But beneath the wonder, there was a warning, a reminder that the knowledge they sought could just as easily destroy them. As the visions faded, the entity spoke again, its voice tinged with a hint of something that might have been respect. "You have chosen the path of the seeker. But remember, human, not all knowledge is meant to be understood. Tread carefully, for the abyss of curiosity is deep, and those who fall may never return." With those final words, the entity retreated into the swirling chaos, leaving the eclipse and its crew alone once more in the strange, otherworldly dimension. Captain Rees took a deep breath, steadying herself. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with dangers and mysteries they could scarcely comprehend. But they had chosen to walk it, and there was no turning back. "Prepare the ship for exploration," she ordered, her voice resolute. "We have much to learn and little time to do it." The crew nodded, their faces set with determination. They knew the risks, but they were explorers, seekers of the unknown. And they would continue their journey, no matter where it led. As the eclipse ventured deeper into the realm of the ancients, the crew braced themselves for whatever came next. The abyss of curiosity had claimed them, and now only their ingenuity and resolve would see them through. The echoes of the ancients. The eclipse moved cautiously through the vibrant and surreal landscape of the ancients' realm, its crew on high alert. Captain Elena Rees had seen many strange things in her career, but nothing compared to this, an entire dimension that defied the laws of physics as they knew them. The swirling colors outside the ship's hull seemed to pulse with life, shifting and changing with every passing moment, as if responding to their presence. "Status report," Rees called out, her eyes never leaving the view outside. Lieutenant Arjun Patel's voice came through the intercom, calm but laced with tension. "Captain, our systems are stable, but we're picking up strange energy readings all around us. It's like the entire environment is alive in some way, and it's interacting with our ship's systems." Reeves nodded, her mind racing. "Keep monitoring those readings. We need to understand what's going on here, and continue scanning for any signs of an exit." As the crew worked, the ship's sensors detected more movement in the distance, a series of shapes, large and indistinct, slowly emerging from the swirling mists. The tension on the bridge rose as the forms became clearer, revealing themselves to be colossal structures, ancient and monolithic, floating in the void. "What are those?" Reeves asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Petal's hands flew over his controls. They're massive, Captain, several kilometers across. They appear to be some kind of constructs, but they're unlike anything we've ever encountered. I'm detecting traces of the same energy signature as the entity we encountered earlier. Reeves narrowed her eyes, her curiosity piqued. Could these be the remnants of the ancient civilization? "Possibly," Petal replied, "but whatever they are, they're ancient. I'm picking up signs of extreme age, millions of years at least." The Eclipse drifted closer to the structures, its sensors working overtime to gather data. The crew stared in awe as the details of the monoliths came into view, vast, intricately carved surfaces covered in symbols and patterns that seemed to dance in the shifting light. "Captain, we're receiving a signal," Petal reported, his voice tinged with excitement. "It's coming from one of the structures. It's weak, but it's there." Reeves leaned forward, her pulse quickening. "Can you translate it?" "I'm working on it," Petal said, his fingers flying across the console. It's similar to the signal we picked up earlier. I think it's some kind of message, but it's fragmented." The bridge fell silent as everyone waited, their eyes fixed on the view of the ancient structures. The signal crackled through the speakers, a low, resonant hum that seemed to vibrate through the very bones of the ship. "It's repeating," Petal said, his voice hushed. "The same message over and over. I've managed to translate a part of it. It says, 'Beware the echoes.'" Reeves frowned, trying to make sense of the cryptic warning. Echoes of what? Before Petal could respond, the ship's alarms blared again, and the lights flickered ominously. The structures outside began to pulse with energy, their surfaces glowing with a dark, eerie light. The hum of the signal grew louder, reverberating through the ship like a heartbeat. "Captain, the structures are activating," Petal shouted, his voice filled with alarm. "I'm detecting massive energy spikes. They're generating a field around us." Reeves felt a surge of adrenaline. Full reverse thrust. Get us out of here now. The engines rolled to life, but the ship barely moved. The gravitational field generated by the monoliths was too strong, holding them in place as the energy continued to build. "Captain, we're being pulled towards the central structure." Petal's voice was laced with fear. "I can't break free." Reeves gripped the console, her mind racing for a solution. They were trapped, caught in a web of ancient power, and the more they struggled, the tighter the grip became. "Divert all power to the engines," she ordered. "We need to break free before it's too late." But even as she spoke, the central structure began to change. The symbols on its surface glowed brighter, and the entire monolith seemed to shift, opening like a massive ancient flower. Within its depths, a dark void yawned, pulling them inexorably towards it. "Captain, we're being drawn into the structure," Petal shouted, his voice almost drowned out by the roar of the engines. "There's nothing we can do." Reeves knew they were out of options. They were about to be swallowed by something they couldn't even begin to understand. "All hands, brace for." Her words were cut off as the ship was pulled into the structure, the darkness closing around them like a shroud. For a moment, there was nothing but silence, an oppressive, suffocating silence that seemed to stretch on forever. Then suddenly, the darkness lifted, and the ship was bathed in light. The bridge crew blinked in surprise as they found themselves in a vast, open chamber, surrounded by walls of shimmering energy. The monolithic structures were gone, replaced by an endless expanse of light and color that defied description. "What just happened?" Petal whispered, his voice trembling with awe. Reeves looked around, her eyes wide with wonder. "I don't know, Lieutenant, but I think we've crossed into another dimension. We're inside the heart of the Ancients' creation." The crew stared in stunned silence, their minds struggling to comprehend what they were seeing. The chamber was unlike anything they had ever imagined, an infinite space filled with swirling patterns of light and energy, each one more intricate and beautiful than the last. "Captain, I'm picking up life signs," Patel said, his voice filled with disbelief. "Dozens of them. No, hundreds. They're all around us." Reese turned to him, her heart pounding. "Are they hostile?" "I can't tell," Patel admitted. "But they're different. They're not like anything we've encountered before." As he spoke, the light around them began to coalesce, forming into distinct shapes, vague, ethereal figures that seemed to hover just beyond the edge of perception. The crew watched in awe as the figures moved closer, their forms solidifying into ghostly apparitions that floated in the air around them. "Are they the ancients?" someone whispered. Reese didn't answer. She didn't know what these beings were, but there was something about them, something ancient and powerful, yet strangely familiar. It was as if they were echoes of a long-forgotten past, memories preserved in the light of this strange dimension. One of the figures drifted closer, its form shimmering with a soft, golden light. It reached out a hand that seemed both solid and insubstantial at the same time. Reese felt a strange sensation, as if the being was trying to communicate with her, to share something important. "Captain," Patel said urgently, "the energy readings are spiking again. I think they're trying to show us something." Reese nodded slowly, her gaze fixed on the figure before her. "Let them." The figure's hand touched her, and in that instant, the chamber around them dissolved into a whirlwind of images and sounds. The crew was bombarded with visions of ancient worlds, of civilizations rising and falling, of battles fought across the stars. They saw the ancients in their prime, beings of unimaginable power and wisdom, creating wonders that defied understanding. But they also saw the darkness that had consumed them, the same darkness that now threatened the Eclipse and its crew. The ancients had delved too deep, sought knowledge that was never meant to be known, and in doing so, they had unleashed something terrible, something that had destroyed them from within. The visions faded, and the crew found themselves back in the chamber, the ghostly figures still surrounding them. But now there was a sense of urgency in the air, a warning that echoed in their minds. "We need to leave," Reese said, her voice filled with resolve. "This place, it's a trap. The ancients' knowledge is dangerous, and it's not meant for us." Patel nodded, his expression grim. "But how do we get out of here, Captain?" Was still caught in the field. Reese looked at the figures, her mind racing. The ancients were trying to communicate, to guide them. "We need to trust them," she said. "They brought us here for a reason. We need to follow their lead." As if in response, the figures began to move, drifting towards a point in the chamber where the light seemed to converge. The crew watched as the figures formed a circle, their hands outstretched towards the center. "Captain, I'm detecting a distortion in the field," Patel said, his voice filled with excitement. "It's a portal. It's forming right where they're standing." Reese didn't hesitate. "All hands, prepare for dimensional jump. We're getting out of here." The Eclipse's engines powered up, the ship straining against the gravitational field as it moved towards the portal. The ghostly figures watched in silence, their forms glowing with an otherworldly light. As the ship approached the portal, the figures began to fade, their light dissolving into the surrounding energy. But just before they disappeared completely, Reese heard a voice in her mind, soft but clear. "Remember, human, the echoes of the past are powerful, but they are also dangerous. Seek knowledge, but do not let it consume you." With those final words, the figures vanished, and the Eclipse plunged into the portal, the light of the chamber disappearing behind them. The ship was surrounded by darkness once more, the sensation of movement disorienting and chaotic. Then, with a sudden jolt, they were back in their own universe, the familiar stars of their home galaxy shining outside the ship's windows. "Captain, we've returned to our original coordinates," Patel reported, his voice filled with relief. "We're safe." Reese let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. They had made it back, escaped the ancients' dimension with their lives, and with a deeper understanding of the dangers that lay in the pursuit of knowledge. But the experience had left its mark on her, and she knew it had changed them all. The echoes of the ancients still resonated in her mind, a reminder of the thin line between curiosity and destruction. "Set a course for home," she ordered, her voice steady but tinged with a new determination. "We've seen enough for one journey." As the Eclipse turned and began its long journey back to Earth, Reese allowed herself a moment of reflection. They had ventured into the unknown and returned, but the knowledge they had gained came with a heavy price. The ancients had left behind a legacy of wonders and horrors, a legacy that now rested in human hands. But Reese knew one thing for certain: they would not make the same mistakes as those who came before. They would explore, they would learn, but they would also be cautious. The echoes of the past were powerful, but the future was theirs to shape. And as the eclipse soared through the stars, Captain Elena Reeves vowed that humanity's journey had only just begun. Unseen allies. The eclipse cruised through the familiar expanse of space, the haunting memories of the ancients' dimension lingering in the minds of its crew. Captain Elena Reeves had given the order to return home, but the journey wasn't over yet. There was still a sense of unease, as if something unseen was watching them from the shadows of the universe. Reeves stood on the bridge, staring out at the stars. The experience with the ancients had shaken her, but it had also strengthened her resolve. They had survived the encounter, but the warnings they had received were clear. The echoes of the past could not be ignored. They had to be understood, but with caution. "Captain, we've received a message from Earth," Lieutenant Arjun Patel reported, breaking the silence. "It's a priority transmission from Fleet Command." "Patch it through," Rees ordered, her gaze shifting to the main screen. The face of Admiral Jonathan Hayes, the head of Fleet Command, appeared on the screen, his expression serious. "Captain Rees, I'm glad to see you've returned safely. We've been monitoring your progress, and it appears you've had quite an encounter." Reeves nodded. "Yes, Admiral. We encountered remnants of an ancient civilization, one that was far more advanced than anything we've seen before, but their technology was also dangerous. We barely escaped with our lives." Hayes' expression darkened. "We've been analyzing the data you sent back, and it confirms our worst fears. The ancients' technology is highly unstable, and it could pose a significant threat if it falls into the wrong hands. We need to understand it, but we must also be prepared for the consequences." "That's why I'm ordering you to change course," Hayes continued. "There's a research station on the edge of the galaxy, Station Epsilon 9. It's one of our most secure facilities, equipped to handle dangerous technology. I want you to take the data and any other findings you've gathered and deliver them there for further analysis." Reeves' eyes narrowed slightly. "Admiral, with all due respect, are we certain that's the safest course of action? The ancients' technology is unlike anything we've encountered before. We may not be fully equipped to handle it." Hayes nodded, his tone grave. "I understand your concerns, Captain, but we have no choice. The knowledge you've uncovered could be the key to understanding the ancients and their downfall, but it could also be the key to preventing a similar fate for humanity. We can't afford to ignore it." Rees took a deep breath, weighing the decision. She knew the risks, but she also knew the importance of the mission. "Understood, Admiral. We'll set a course for Station Epsilon 9 immediately." "Good luck," Captain Hayes said, his tone softening slightly. "And be careful. The galaxy is full of unknowns, and we can't afford to lose the eclipse." The transmission ended, and Rees turned to her crew. "You heard the Admiral. Set a course for Station Epsilon 9. We have work to do." As the crew carried out her orders, Rees couldn't shake the feeling that they were heading into even greater danger. The ancients' technology was powerful, but it was also unpredictable. And now they were about to bring it into one of humanity's most secure facilities. The journey to Station Epsilon 9 took them deeper into the galaxy, far from the well-traveled routes of exploration. The station itself was a remote outpost hidden away in a region of space that few dared to venture. It was a place of secrecy, where the most sensitive and dangerous research was conducted away from prying eyes. As the eclipse approached the station, Reeves couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The station loomed large on the view screen, a massive structure of metal and energy shields, bristling with defenses. It was a fortress, built to withstand any threat, but Reeves wondered if it would be enough. "Captain, we're being hailed by the station," Pato reported. "Put them through," Reeves said. The screen flickered, and the image of a stern-faced man in a uniform appeared. "This is Commander Reynolds of Station Epsilon 9. Captain Reeves, we've been expecting you. Prepare to dock at Bay 12. We'll take it from here." Reeves nodded. "Understood, Commander. We'll be docking shortly." The docking procedure went smoothly, and soon the Eclipse was securely moored to the station. Reeves, along with a small team, disembarked and made their way through the station's sterile corridors, guided by armed guards. The atmosphere was tense, the air thick with anticipation. They were led to a secure research chamber, where a team of scientists and engineers awaited them. The chamber was filled with advanced equipment, all designed to analyze and contain the most volatile materials in the galaxy. Captain Reeves, a tall, gray-haired scientist, greeted them. "I'm Dr. Elena Vasquez, head of the research team here. I understand you've brought us something quite extraordinary." Reeves handed over the data crystal containing all the information they had gathered on the Ancients' technology. "This is everything we were able to collect, but I must warn you, what you're dealing with is extremely dangerous. The Ancients' technology is beyond anything we've ever encountered, and it's highly unstable." Dr. Vasquez took the crystal, her expression unreadable. "We're well aware of the risks, Captain, but this is a unique opportunity to learn from a civilization that was far more advanced than our own. We'll take every precaution." As the scientists began their analysis, Reeves felt a gnawing sense of dread. They were delving into the unknown, probing the secrets of a civilization that had destroyed itself with its own power. The echoes of the ancients still resonated in her mind, a constant reminder of the thin line between knowledge and destruction. Hours passed as the research team worked, their expressions growing more serious with each passing moment. Reeves watched from a distance, her arms crossed, her mind racing with thoughts of what they might uncover. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station and the lights flickered. The research chamber was bathed in a red glow as emergency protocols activated. "What's happening?" Reeves demanded, rushing forward. Dr. Vasquez looked up, her face pale. "The containment field, it's destabilizing. The energy readings are off the charts. We're losing control." Reeves's heart pounded. "Shut it down. Now." But before they could react, the chamber was engulfed in a surge of energy. The equipment sparked and overloaded, and the containment field collapsed. The energy from the Ancients' technology erupted outward, flooding the chamber with a blinding light. Reeves barely had time to react before she was thrown to the ground by the force of the explosion. The last thing she saw before everything went dark was the terrified faces of her crew, and the swirling chaotic energy that seemed to reach out for them, as if the echoes of the ancients had returned to claim them. When Reeves awoke, she found herself lying on the cold metal floor of the station's medical bay. Her head throbbed and her vision was blurry, but she was alive. She struggled to sit up, her body aching from the explosion. Around her, the medical bay was a scene of chaos. Injured crew members and scientists being treated by the station's medical staff, the air thick with the smell of burnt circuits and chemicals. "Captain, you're awake," a voice said softly. Reeves turned to see Lieutenant Potel standing beside her, a look of relief on his face. He was bandaged and bruised, but otherwise unharmed. "What happened?" Reeves asked, her voice hoarse. Pato's expression darkened. The containment failed. The energy from the Ancients' technology, it overwhelmed the systems. But somehow, it didn't destroy the station. It's as if it absorbed the energy. Reeves frowned, trying to piece together what had happened. Absorbed it. How is that possible? "We're still trying to figure that out," Patel said grimly. "But it's as if the energy from the Ancients' technology merged with the station itself. The systems are still functional, but different. Reese's mind raced. The Ancients' technology was dangerous, but it was also powerful. If the station had absorbed that energy, there was no telling what it might become. "We need to get to the control center," she said, forcing herself to her feet. "We need to understand what's happening." As they made their way through the damaged corridors, the extent of the situation became clear. The station was still operational, but it had changed. Lights flickered, and strange energy pulses ran through the walls as if the station itself was alive. When they reached the control center, they were met with a scene of controlled chaos. The station's crew was working frantically to stabilize the systems, but the energy from the Ancients' technology had altered everything. "Captain," Dr. Vasquez said, approaching her with a mix of fear and awe. "I don't know how to explain this, but the station, it's been infused with the Ancients' energy. It's like the technology has become part of the station, and it's affecting everything." Reeves stared at the displays, watching as the station's systems pulsed with the strange, otherworldly energy. "Is it stable?" "For now," Vasquez replied. "But we don't know what this means or how long it will last. We're in uncharted territory." "For now," Vasquez replied. "But we don't know what this means or how long it will last. We're in uncharted territory." Reeves nodded, her mind racing with possibilities and dangers. The Ancients' technology had changed the station, but they had no idea what the long-term effects would be. They were playing with forces they didn't fully understand, and the consequences could be catastrophic. "Keep monitoring the systems," Reeves ordered. "We need to understand what's happening and how to control it. We can't let this get out of hand." As the crew worked to stabilize the station, Reeves couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of something far greater than they had ever imagined. The Ancients' legacy had become intertwined with their own, and the future was more uncertain than ever. But one thing was clear: their journey was far from over. They had uncovered a new mystery, one that could reshape everything they knew about the universe. And as they stood on the precipice of the unknown, Captain Elena Reeves knew that humanity's fate was now tied to the echoes of the Ancients in ways they could never have anticipated. Resonance. Captain Elena Reeves stood on the bridge of the eclipse, watching as the research station Epsilon 9 pulsed with a strange, eerie glow. The once stable structure now thrummed with energy, the walls humming as if alive. It had been days since the containment field collapsed, and the station had absorbed the Ancients' energy. But even now, no one fully understood the extent of the transformation. "Status report," Reeves ordered, her voice steady despite the unease gnawing at her. Lieutenant Arjun Patel, still bandaged from the explosion, scanned the readings. "The station's systems are stable for now, Captain, but they've been altered. The energy from the Ancients' technology has integrated with the station's infrastructure. It's as if the station itself is evolving." "Evolving?" Reeves repeated, turning to Patel. "In what way?" "It's difficult to explain," Patel said, his brow furrowed. "The station's eye has been affected. It's becoming more complex, more intuitive. It's learning at an accelerated rate, adapting to the new energy source. But it's also unpredictable. We're detecting fluctuations in power distribution and strange anomalies in the data streams." Reeves clenched her fists, trying to make sense of it all. They had come across technology beyond their understanding, and now it was reshaping the very fabric of their reality. The echoes of the Ancients had become a living force, intertwining with their own. "Captain," Dr. Elena Vasquez's voice crackled over the comm. "We need you in the research lab. We've made a breakthrough, something you need to see." Reeves nodded to Patel. "Keep monitoring the station's systems. I want to be informed of any changes immediately." "Yes, Captain," Patel replied, his tone resolute. Reeves made her way to the research lab, her mind racing with possibilities. The Ancients' technology had proven more powerful than they could have imagined, and now it was altering their world in ways they were only beginning to comprehend. The lab was a hive of activity when Reeves arrived. Scientists and engineers were gathered around the central console, their expressions a mix of awe and apprehension. Dr. Vasquez stood at the forefront, her eyes alight with a mix of excitement and concern. "Captain," Vasquez began, her voice trembling slightly. "We've been analyzing the energy that was released when the containment field collapsed. It's unlike anything we've seen before, a form of quantum resonance that seems to be interacting with the very fabric of space-time." Ree's eyes narrowed. "Quantum resonance? Are you saying the energy is altering space-time?" "Not just altering it, manipulating it," Vasquez explained, her tone urgent. "The station's systems are being influenced by this resonance, creating localized distortions in space-time. It's as if the station is becoming a nexus, a point where different dimensions converge." Reeves felt a chill run down her spine. The implications of such a phenomenon were staggering. "Is there a risk of destabilization?" "There's always a risk," Vasquez admitted, her voice somber. "But we've managed to stabilize the resonance for now. However, the station is changing, becoming something else. The energy from the ancients is more than just power. It's a force that reshapes reality itself." Reese's mind raced, trying to grasp the enormity of what they were dealing with. The ancients had wielded power beyond imagination, and now that power was in their hands, or rather, it was becoming part of them. "What does this mean for us?" Reeves asked, her voice steady despite the uncertainty gnawing at her. Vasquez hesitated before answering. "We're on the cusp of something unprecedented, Captain. The station could become a gateway, a bridge to other dimensions, or even other realities. But we don't know where it might lead, or what might come through." The weight of Vasquez's words hung in the air, heavy with the unknown. Reese knew they were treading dangerous ground, but there was no turning back. The echoes of the ancients had brought them to this point, and now they had to face the consequences. "Can we control it?" Reese asked, her voice firm. "Can we harness this power without losing ourselves in the process?" Vasquez met her gaze, her expression resolute. "We're working on it, Captain, but it's a delicate balance. The resonance is both a gift and a curse. If we push too far, we could unleash forces beyond our control. But if we can master it, we might unlock the secrets of the universe itself." Reese nodded, her resolve hardening. They had come too far to back down now. The ancients' legacy was theirs to inherit, but only if they were strong enough to wield it. "Keep me updated on your progress," Reeves ordered. "And if anything changes, if the resonance becomes unstable, I want to know immediately." "Understood, Captain," Vasquez replied, her tone respectful but determined. As Reeves left the lab, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing at the edge of a precipice. The ancients' power had become part of their reality, and now it was up to them to decide how to use it, or whether to use it at all. Back on the bridge, the atmosphere was tense. The crew knew they were dealing with forces far beyond their comprehension, and the weight of that knowledge bore down on them. But they also knew they were making history, charting a course into the unknown where no one had gone before. "Captain, we're detecting a spatial anomaly on the outer edge of the station's sensor range," Patel reported, his voice laced with tension. "It's fluctuating, like it's being pulled in and out of our dimension." Reese's heart skipped a beat. "Is it connected to the resonance?" "It's possible," Patel replied. "The anomaly seems to be reacting to the station's energy output. It's as if something is trying to break through." Reese's mind raced, the implications dawning on her. The station had become a nexus, a point where dimensions converged, and now something was trying to come through. "Prepare to activate the station's defensive systems," Reeves ordered. "We don't know what's out there, but we need to be ready for anything." As the crew scrambled to follow her orders, the anomaly on the screen pulsed, growing in intensity. The fabric of space seemed to twist and warp around it, as if reality itself was bending under the strain. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission," Patel said, his voice tight with anxiety. "But it's fragmented. I can't make out the source." "Put it on the main screen," Reeves ordered. The screen flickered, and a distorted image appeared. It was a mass of shifting colors and shapes, as if the transmission was coming from another dimension. But amid the chaos, a voice emerged, a voice that sent chills down Reeves' spine. Anomaly detected, resonance unstable, breach imminent. The voice was barely recognizable, but there was something hauntingly familiar about it. Reeves strained to make out the words, but the transmission was too garbled. "What is this?" Reeves whispered, her mind racing. "We're not sure," Patel replied, his voice tense. "But it's coming from the anomaly. It's as if something on the other side is trying to communicate with us." Reeves's pulse quickened. The echoes of the ancients had led them to this point, and now they were on the brink of something unprecedented. But what lay beyond the anomaly? Was it a gateway to new knowledge, or a doorway to unimaginable danger? "Open a channel," Reeves ordered, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her. "Let's see if we can establish contact." Patel nodded, working quickly to comply. The crew held their breath as the channel opened, and the anomaly on the screen pulsed again, growing larger. "Anomaly detected, resonance unstable, breach imminent." The voice came through clearer this time, and Reeves' heart skipped a beat. The voice was hers, a distorted echo of her own voice, coming from the other side of the anomaly. "Captain," Patel said, his voice trembling. "That voice, it's you." Reeves' mind reeled. The anomaly was more than just a spatial distortion. It was a doorway, a portal to another reality. And on the other side was another version of herself, sending a warning through the breach. "Resonance unstable, breach imminent, you must stop it." The transmission cut off abruptly, and the anomaly flared, sending a shockwave through the station. The lights flickered, and alarms blared as the systems struggled to contain the surge of energy. "Captain, the anomaly is destabilizing," Plato shouted, his voice barely audible over the cacophony. "We need to shut it down before it tears the station apart." "Activate the containment field," Reeves ordered, her voice firm. "We can't let this breach go any further." The crew worked frantically to re-establish the containment field, but the anomaly continued to grow, pulsing with chaotic energy. The station shook, and the walls groaned under the strain. "Containment field online," Pato reported, his voice strained. "But it's not enough. The anomaly is still expanding." Reeves gritted her teeth, her mind racing for a solution. They were on the brink of disaster, and the echoes of the ancients were about to consume them. But she couldn't let that happen, not when they were so close to understanding. "Divert all power to the containment field," Reeves ordered. "We need to stabilize the resonance, or we're finished." The lights dimmed as the power was rerouted, and the containment field flared, struggling to hold back the expanding anomaly. The station trembled, and for a moment, it seemed as if the breach would overwhelm them. But then, slowly, the anomaly began to shrink. The containment field held, compressing the breach until it was no more than a flicker on the screen. The station stabilized, and the alarms went silent. Reeves let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. They had averted disaster, barely, but the echoes of the ancients had left their mark, and the station was forever changed. "Status report," Reeves ordered, her voice hoarse. "The anomaly has been contained, Captain," Pato replied, his voice weary. "But the station's systems are still affected. The resonance, it's still there, just dormant for now." Reeves nodded, her mind heavy with the implications. They had come face to face with another reality, another version of herself, and it had nearly destroyed them. But they had survived, barely. As she looked out at the stars, Reeves knew that their journey was far from over. The echoes of the ancients were still with them, and the resonance was a force they couldn't fully control. But they had made it this far, and they would continue to push forward, no matter the cost. For in the end, it was not just their survival at stake, but the fate of all humanity. Beyond the threshold, the Eclipse drifted silently through the vast expanse of space, the research station Epsilon 9 behind them a silent testament to their recent struggles. Captain Elena Rees stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the distant stars. The anomaly had been contained, but its impact lingered. The echoes of the ancients had irrevocably altered their course, and the journey ahead was uncharted. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from command," Pautel announced, his voice breaking through the silence. "They've been monitoring our situation closely." Reeves turned, her expression resolute. On screen, the display flickered, and the stern face of Admiral Harrison appeared. "Captain Reeves, report." "We've contained the anomaly," Reeves began, her voice steady. "But the energy from the Ancients' technology has transformed the station and its systems. We've encountered another reality, a version of ourselves attempting to warn us of the dangers." Admiral Harrison's eyes narrowed. "Another reality? This is more complex than we anticipated. What's the status of Epsilon 9? "It's stable for now," Reeves replied. "But the resonance is still active, albeit dormant. We're working to understand its long-term effects. However, the containment field is holding, and the immediate threat has been neutralized." Harrison nodded, his expression thoughtful. "Good work, Captain, but you need to prepare for the next phase. We've detected anomalies similar to what you encountered spreading throughout the sector. It appears the Ancients' technology is resonating with other areas of space." Reeves's brow furrowed. "Are you saying the anomalies are expanding?" "Precisely," Harrison confirmed. "We believe the resonance could be creating ripples in space-time. It's crucial that we understand the full extent of this phenomenon. Your team's research will be vital." "Understood, Admiral," Reeves replied. "We'll continue our investigations and report any significant findings." As the transmission ended, Reeves turned to her crew. The weight of their discoveries was immense, and their journey was far from over. The Ancients' legacy had opened a door to new possibilities and new dangers. "Prepare for a course adjustment," Reeves ordered. "We need to investigate the other anomalies and assess their impact. The sooner we understand the full scope of this resonance, the better we can respond." "Aye, Captain," Patos said, already working to set the new course. The eclipse shifted its trajectory, setting a course for the nearest anomaly detected by command. As the stars streaked past the viewport, Reeves couldn't shake the feeling that they were stepping into the unknown, a frontier where every decision could have far-reaching consequences. In the research lab, Dr. Vasquez and her team continued their analysis of the resonance. The energy from the Ancients had left an indelible mark on the station's systems, creating new patterns and phenomena that defied conventional understanding. "Captain," Vasquez called out, her voice tinged with excitement. "We've detected fluctuations in the resonance patterns that suggest the presence of a network, a web of interconnected anomalies." "A network?" Reeves asked, intrigued. "Can you pinpoint their locations?" "Yes," Vasquez replied. "It appears that the anomalies are connected in a complex system. We've identified several key nodes that seem to be central to this network. If we can map these nodes, we might be able to predict their behavior and find a way to stabilize the resonance." Reeves's mind raced. The Ancients' technology was creating a web of anomalies that spanned the sector, and understanding this network could be key to mastering the resonance. "Keep me updated on your progress. We need to be ready for anything." As the eclipse approached the nearest anomaly, the crew prepared for another encounter. The ship's sensors picked up the familiar fluctuations in space-time, and the crew braced for the unknown. "Entering the anomaly's influence," Pautel announced. "Shields at maximum." The eclipse entered the distorted region, and the stars outside seemed to warp and bend. The ship's systems struggled to maintain stability, but the crew's expertise kept them on course. "Captain," Vasquez said, her voice tense. "We're detecting an energy signature within the anomaly. It's similar to the resonance we encountered at Epsilon 9. "Any indication of what it might be?" Reeves asked. "It's hard to say," Vasquez replied, "but it could be another focal point in the resonance network. We need to investigate further." Reeves nodded, her resolve hardening. The network of anomalies was expanding, and their mission was to unravel its mysteries before it could pose a greater threat. The Eclipse maneuvered through the anomaly's field, and soon they emerged into a region of space where the effects of the resonance were more pronounced. The energy signature they detected grew stronger, and the ship's sensors picked up unusual readings. "Captain," Patel said, his voice laced with awe, "we've detected a massive structure in the distance. It appears to be an ancient artifact, similar to what we found on Epsilon 9. Reeves' eyes widened. The Ancients' technology had left a trail across the sector, and this artifact could hold the key to understanding their legacy. "Set a course for the structure. We need to investigate." As the Eclipse approached the artifact, its massive form loomed on the horizon. The structure was unlike anything they had ever seen, an immense construct, partially buried in the fabric of space-time. Its surface was covered in intricate patterns and symbols, glowing with a faint, otherworldly light. "Captain, we're getting a transmission from the artifact," Patel reported. "It's a data stream, but it's encrypted." "Decrypt it," Reeves ordered. "Let's see what it has to say." The data stream flickered on the screen, revealing a message from the Ancients. It was a series of complex equations and symbols, interspersed with images of the cosmos and glimpses of other dimensions. "This message is a guide," Vasquez said, her eyes scanning the data. "It's showing us how to navigate the resonance network. The Ancients must have built this artifact to regulate the flow of energy through the anomalies." Reeves absorbed the information, realizing that the Ancients had left behind more than just technology. They had left a legacy of knowledge, a blueprint for understanding the cosmos. "We need to study this artifact in detail. It could hold the answers we're looking for." As the crew began their analysis, the artifact's purpose became clearer. It was a central node in the resonance network, a control point that regulated the flow of energy between dimensions. The Ancients had built it to maintain balance and prevent instability. "We found a way to stabilize the resonance," Vasquez reported, her voice tinged with excitement. "The artifact's data provides a framework for controlling the anomalies. If we can replicate this technology, we might be able to manage the network and prevent further disruptions." Reeves felt a surge of hope. The Ancients' legacy was not just a source of power, it was a guide, a beacon of knowledge that could help them navigate the complexities of the cosmos. "Prepare to return to Epsilon 9, Reeves ordered. "We need to implement the stabilization protocols and continue our research." The Eclipse turned away from the artifact, its mission far from over. The journey ahead was filled with uncertainty, but with the Ancients' knowledge at their disposal, they had a fighting chance. As they left the anomaly behind, Captain Elena Reeves knew that humanity stood at the threshold of a new era, one where they could unlock the secrets of the universe and shape their destiny among the stars. The echoes of the Ancients had brought them to this point, and now it was up to them to carry forward the legacy. The cosmos awaited, and the future was theirs to explore.